My name is Robert Thiemann. I'm the founder of Frame. Welcome to the live jury session of Frame Awards January. In the next hour, we will be discussing with a selection of our 15 people strong international jury panel, which projects have won an honorable mention and which is the interior of the month, January. The Frame Awards aim to set the global standard for interior design. We're looking for spatial excellence. Therefore, we have evolving jury panels who are judging the projects submitted by a global audience of design studios. Our jury panel judges projects on 4 criteria: innovation, creativity, functionality, and sustainability. Each and every project has been judged according to these criteria. We're looking to define spatial excellence. What is it? That's what we're going to discuss using the 5 projects that won an honorable mention and Interior of the Month award in an attempt to create more engagement in this industry, to make this industry more inclusive, more diverse, and more transparent. I would like to welcome the jury panel. These are the 15 people who have been on the jury this month. And we have 9 of them in this session. And can we see your faces? I will briefly say your name and then please introduce yourself. We have Oliver Solway, Valerie Boerma, Wiebe Boonstra, Tom Edington, Daisuke Nagatomo, Vincent de Graaf, Alia Eltanani, Elena Apiu, and William Lim. Valerie, please tell us who you are and what kind of work you're doing.
Hi, I'm Valerie. I'm a co-founder of Barda and Van Volt Studio. We are fluent in stories, design, and branding. Well, we're working a lot for the creative industry. A lot of scale-ups that are fastly growing. And well, we are always thinking about how to translate a brand identity into an interior design and to create a holistic design for our clients.
Thank you, Valerie. You're based in Amsterdam. You forgot to say.
Oh, yes, yeah, based in Amsterdam.
You know. Then Oliver, who are you? Where are you based? What kind of work do you do?
Hi there. So I'm Oliver Solway. I'm a founder of architecture and design studio Softroom. And our work is pretty broad, encompassing, but a lot of focus on hospitality. Although not a lot of call for hospitality in the last year. So actually we've been focusing on working on projects for the NHS, National Health Service here in the UK. And also we've been starting to look at set design for television, which is a medium that's undergoing quite a lot of change in terms of technology, disruptive technology at the moment. So quite a broad spectrum of work.
Thank you, Oliver. Great to have you here. Tom Edington.
Thank you very much, Robert. Hi, everyone. Thanks for everyone's entries. It was really a pleasure being part of the jury. So my name's Tom Edington. I'm the creative director at Your Studio London. For those of you who don't know us, we're an experienced design agency. We are absolutely fascinated with crafting human connection on every channel. So lots of these projects really resonated with me and with us, and thinking about how the human actually exists within the space and the wider purpose of your projects as well. So thank you very much, and I look forward to this discussion.
Thank you, Tom. Daisuke Nagatomo, hello.
Hi, hello. I'm Daisuke Nagatomo from Japan. Currently, I'm based in Taipei. I'm an assistant professor at National Taiwan Normal University Department of Design and focus on teaching interior design. I'm also a founder of a design studio based in Taipei at Miso Soup Design. And so where we focus on interior architecture design. And it was a great experience to be part of this jury honors, and I'm very excited to see the winner today. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. Then we have Alia El-Tanani. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Alia Tanani. I'm from Cairo, Egypt. I'm co-founder of Living in Interiors. Living in Interiors is a company that's known in the region for very high-end luxury interiors and projects. We also have a commercial interiors section. So we do a lot of multinational offices and office buildings. We do hotels. So we also have a manufacturing side. And I've just co-created the brand Don Tanani. And Don Tanani will be concentrated on design in Egypt, made in Egypt by Egyptians.
Fantastic, thank you. Then Mr. William Lim from Hong Kong.
Hi, this is William from Hong Kong. So I'm an architect. My firm's name is CL3 Architects, and we do commercial buildings architecture. We also do interior design, mainly focusing in hotels, and we also do art installation. So I like, to think of projects not as a particular type, but as some way to solve some urban condition and urban environment. So that's my interest, and very nice to be on this jury and meeting everyone.
Thank you, William. Then Elena Apiu.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elena. I'm based in Paris. I'm in charge of interior design for the apart hotel brand Adagio. So we have more than 120 properties around the world, but mainly in Europe. So I take care of conceptual projects for the whole network and the whole brand, but also I supervise new construction or refurbishment projects, property per property.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to be on board as well.
Thank you, Elena. Wiebe Boonstra from Amsterdam.
My name is Wiebe Boonstra from Amsterdam, Holland. I'm co-founder of Dutch furniture brand Dam, without the B, please. Our brand focuses on sustainability mainly, and on the contract market and hospitality, focusing on lobbies, breakout areas, meeting rooms, like that.
Thank you, Wiebe. And then Vincent.
Hello. Hi. I'm Vincent de Graaf, speaking to you from Shanghai. Wendy and me started our adventure in Shanghai 2005. We run an architecture interior design studio. We work on hospitality, retail, cultural projects, education projects. Super glad to have been part of this jury. It's been great to see all the plans. Looking forward to discussing more.
Thank you, Vincent. And just calling in from Shenzhen, Rita Chow, Sangcha Zhu.
Hey everyone, I'm Rita Chow from Shenzhen, China, and I am the founder of Sunshine PR, a PR agency for Chinese architects and interior designers, and also now for some lighting designers. And in the past few years, we have also done some PR for some international design companies. I think in 2020, we have helped Free from Mexico and Big from Denmark to promote their latest projects in China, especially in Shenzhen. And also from 2020, we are now managing the WeChat and Weibo platform for Frame. It's our great honor to do this, and happy to meet all of you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Welcome. So we'll be looking at 4 honorable mentions this afternoon and 1 winning project, the interior of the month. And we'll kick off with the first project, which is the W Hotel in Ibiza, designed by Baranowitz and Cronenberg. As you can see, this project scores particularly high when it comes to functionality and creativity, totaling in a 7.8. This is a renovation project, so it's a renovation from an existing building, resulting in a vibrant place that celebrates sun and people. We're going to break up in two groups. So the first group consists of Alia, Bibe, Elena, Daisuke, and Vincent. They will share their comments with the audience. And Alia, maybe you can kick off. Which elements, according to you, give this hotel its very much relax and enjoy character?
Well, this project was very impressive from the first shots where you see the before and after. So in that sense, it was a great upgrade for the entire view of this sort of corner of Ibiza, let's say. I feel that the color, the choice of color, and especially the awnings on the facade, this multitude of colors on the awning. You can't see it on this image here, but you can see a little bit of the color choice, I think is outstanding. The roping design on the ceiling of the entrance with the combination of the lights also gives a very festive feeling, not relaxed as much as happy. And that's very, very much in line with the W Hotel essence. When you see the W anywhere, you know, you walk in and it's sort of like you've entered into a party in a way. So this is a party town, and that didn't enjoy very pretty facades. They certainly did an amazing job inside and outside, specifically in creating this very festive, very relaxing atmosphere, I would say.
Thank you, Alia. Wiebe, what can you say about the choice of furniture as a furniture designer and manufacturer yourself? What is your expert opinion on the furniture chosen here?
Well, I was quite happy with the furniture they chose, especially because they used a lot of textiles and different fabrics on different types of furniture in different spaces. Which adds this really Ibiza feeling, which most of the time is, to my opinion, a bit too hippie kind of style. And this is a new, like modern, fresh take on that theme, I think. So that's, yeah, it was one of the reasons for me at least, to really like the project.
Thank you, Wiebe. And Elena, you're operating a hotel brand yourself. How on brand is this W Hotel for you? Is it what makes it a
100% on brand? I think the atrium, or the main agora in the middle of the properties, looks amazing. I think it's also very clever to have open up that volume. So it's a very soothing, and it gives us such a relaxed atmosphere. And I also think that there was a great homogeneity between how they treated the external aspect and the internal aspect. So it was very harmonious. I just had maybe a small disappointment with the guest room, which I didn't find that striking. I mean, everything looks outstanding. The guest room looks maybe too traditional compared to the rest of the areas. But I completely agree with my colleagues. This is one great project, and this is a place we would remember. And I think it's always a good sign when you remember things after having seen them. It means that design was a success.
Thank you, Elena. Daisuke,
Yes.
how does this project relate to its context? So it sits on this sunny island next to Spain, Ibiza. Could you imagine this place to be somewhere else in the world, or is it very specific for this context?
I think, well, I worked in Spain, Barcelona, and Spain has specific culture that's designated with, related with architecture. And when I saw this Ibiza project, I think one of the successful part was to technically utilize existing buildings and convert it to certain, how do I say, can experience the culture or context of the island, and also Spanish culture with the colors and material textures. So for me, I saw, when I saw this project, was really kind of expressing the idea of local context with, without building a new structure, which I thought was quite contributing to their sustainable point of view as a W Hotel, as a brand, and they can utilize existing structures. I thought this could be a great model for a lot of historical building in the world. So at that point, I thought it was really successful.
Thank you, Daisuke. Okay, then we'll move on to the next one, and that is the Powerhouse Telemark by Norwegian studio Snøhetta, which scores exceptionally high on sustainability. It is an energy positive building with all kinds of sustainability certificates like BREEAM in Norway, with sort of standardized interiors to increase flexibility and to easily adapt to future tenants, future users. So, Oliver, apart from its energy generating roof, what makes this project stand out for you?
I think that it's another example of Snøhetta really being quite a serious and serious-minded architecture and design studio. And I thought the thoughtfulness they'd given to the shaping of the building, because it was shaped by responses to its local environment to minimize and maximize energy efficiency, was really kind of positive. And also, it's nice to see architecture studios where they obviously have a team working on interiors who are at the same level as the external envelope team, because I thought the whole thing really hung together as a very cohesive whole, and that was very impressive to me.
Thank you, Oliver. Tom, well, we're living in times of Corona, so to say. How Corona-proof, how COVID-19 proof is this office concept?
I think it would definitely lend itself to the current climate in terms of what you said around the flexibility, lots of the elements not being fixed down in the space around. I thought what was, for me as well, apart from obviously the sustainability credentials of the space, the light interaction and play with the space, I thought was a really positive contribution to the space, and how that would affect Corona, I can't be sure, but in terms of it being easy to clean and easy to navigate and understand, and the flow around the space seems very natural and intuitive. So I think that would really help with the current climate. But yeah, I mean, for me, the ability, and what I wanted to go into it from the description of the light changing, the natural light changing within the interiors, and like Oliver said, to have a dual force of the exterior envelope and the interiors team really harmonizing on this project, I think is the key to its success.
Thank you, Tom. Valerie, what do you think of the designer's approach to furniture and to the use of color? You have set up studio in a co-working space yourself, and I think you designed some offices. So
yeah, actually, all the things that Oliver were saying, I really enjoy the whole architectural, the geometric shape of the building, and that is also translating into the interior spaces, which makes each floor already unique. So in terms of the furniture pieces, it's not that spectacular. Part from the furniture pieces that they used upholstery from leftover yard. I found it not so special, but they're very functional, and they're just complementary to the whole design, because it's already so impressive. The building is already a landmark on its own, which I think is pretty impressive, I must say. So the furniture is not, used as one of the highlights of the project. It's just, it just fits to everything. You know, it makes it complete. That was my opinion. I didn't find it too special, like for example, a Fosbury project, which is really focused on those furniture pieces to create unique pieces or source them. But there are very functional furniture pieces, and creating a story about using materials that are from the neighborhood, that is something that is really nice to add to a project.
Thank you, Valerie. And then William, you said in the intro that you're very interested in how a project relates to its context. The context here is quite rural. It's in Norway. It's not in a big city. The building is for a group of different users. That's the user context. How have the designers answered to this context?
Well, actually, I feel that the context in this particular case might not be the immediate neighborhood, but the context is the environment, it's the climate, it's the world, which I think makes this project really stand out in a way. I think if you look at it kind of, you know, when we look at the furniture or the individual parts, it's not trying to make a huge statement. I think it's trying to, you know, look at a very comfortable kind of reasonable working space. But I think the statement that it's making is the responsibility to the environment as architects. And I think that's really the most stunning part about this project, that it is in a way understated, but every move has been done to protect the environment. And it's kind of a zero carbon building. And I think it's the kind of project that, you know, going forward, it's an inspiration for all designers. Don't try to make like a necessary kind of wow effect, but really treat and look at our environment like seriously.
Great words, William. Thank you. The next project is the Apple Aventura store in Miami, designed by Foster and Partners. It's a single brand store for, well, as I said, Apple. And this is, of course, one of the many, many Apple stores that all kind of look the same, all have the same brand DNA, but this one has a specific architectural envelope that is standing out, that's making it stand out. At least that's my reading. So, Alia, how is this store different from other Apple stores? Is it only the architecture, or is there more to it?
Well,
is this an Apple store like every other, or?
No, I heard your question. Mm-hmm. Well, in essence, it's huge, but that's always Apple and their brand. It's always quite impressive as a structure, but this is an outstanding one. I mean, really, they've really like gone all the way out there with the spans and the you know, the amount of concrete and also the thought of the environment, especially in Miami with the lack of water and all of that. So it's definitely, I've never seen an Apple store that big. I've seen big ones, but this one's really quite impressive. And you feel the connection with Miami somehow, the amount of light, the amount of, it's very luminous, it's very playful, it has a little bit of an Art Deco-ish reminiscent kind of thing, but it's yet so new, so advanced, so out there, so unbelievably amazing. But that's, I mean, Foster and Partners, that's always a little bit what they're going for. And I find it just a very, very impressive piece of architecture and volume.
Thank you, Alia. Which brings me to the next question, Wiebe. Are we judging architecture here, or are we speaking about retail design?
That's a good one. That's the question I always asking myself. Is this about interior design, or is it architecture, or is it retail design? Are they making an interior for the product or for the community? I think in this case, both. And the whole great thing about this project is, of course, and I see that with a lot of projects, is good commissioning. You're a good commissioner with deep pockets, so to speak. You get this wonderful products. And in a product, I mean an interior or a building. So is it retail, or is it interior design? Is it architecture? I think this is, it's both of all three, I think.
And which one stands out, or is it a holistic approach to all three?
I think it's a holistic approach, although Apple dictates which furniture to use, for instance, the tables, the stools. So there's quite a big book you have to use as an interior designer, I think. Yeah, I think it's retail design, but in a different way, because it's about, it's especially for the Apple community, which is quite big. So.
Thank you, Wiebe. Elena, if you look at these images, I can't escape the feeling of being on a agora, on a market, on a forum. It's for people coming together, these giant staircases that you can sit on and experience an event, these tables that you can sit on. Is this the future of retail design, bringing people together, and the product is just an excuse?
I think it's not only the future of retail design, I think it's the future of space design. I think that's and I'm on the side of the hospitality, so I'm maybe not maybe my colleagues could speak better than me, but I really think that there are big synergies existing today between hospitality design or retail design, or even offices design or hospitals design. So creating a sense of community is very important. And I think one of the striking aspects for me of this project is the intention to create this sense of community, of gathering people, of offering an experience to people much further than just giving them the opportunity to buy something. This kind of experience is offered both inside but also outside. There's a kind of dialogue between both the external and interior areas of the building, and I think it was very successfully executed. So yeah, I think it's the future of retail design, but once again, it's the future of also, I mean, space design in general.
Thank you, Elena. Daisuke, which element stands out for you in this project?
Can you repeat the question again?
Which element stands out for you in this project? Is it the architecture? Is it the approach to retail design? Is it the, what is it? What makes this project stand out for you?
Well, for me, first, the first image of this Apple logo with huge glass wall and carved roof was the statement of, well, in general, when the new Apple Store comes out, a single self-standing building, they always try to make certain significant statement of brand image. And in this particular project, what I liked about it was the way how, for example, this roof worked as rainwater harvesting system, which evolved rather than just a formal expression, but to add certain sustainable function to the building, which I feel like this high-end or computer-related product tend to lack of idea of sustainability. So in this case, what I saw very successful was this architectural expression, actually not only the form, but to convince users or people who experience the product, retail product, with the idea of sustainability or architectural gestures, the kind of idea of holistic experience. Feel like this Apple store, they always try to express the idea of digital lifestyle, which I saw in this project. They kind of tried to combine next level of digital lifestyle, which to have the concerning about sustainability. That's one of the part I saw more successful in this project.
Thank you, Daisuke. And Vincent, are you still around?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, cool. What kind of special sauce, secret sauce is Apple using for its stores? They all look similar. They all look different. They have all been designed by Foster and Partners. What's the secret sauce? Why are they so successful?
I think they completely go above what retail design is about. So to me, this is absolutely not about the interior, but it's architecture rather than interior design. It's not style. What I really appreciate here is that it seems to be kind of like extra usable interior exterior space. So the connection between the interior and the exteriors is kind of like very, very open. And what I specifically see in this, it's like a contemporary temple for like global technology. So it's like it's no longer about what's this style or what is that decoration or what do I try to convey. I think it goes beyond that. And of course we can talk about the budget and things like that, but to be honest, I am at a point where I do not care about the budget anymore. I'm just happy that this building is there and it seems to serve the community.
Thanks, Vincent. So congratulations to Foster and Partners and Apple for winning this honorable mention for this amazing structure, which also serves as a store. Let's have a look at the last honorable mention. It's a restaurant in Shenzhen called Organic, in my best Chinese, and it's designed by local studio Various Associates. As you can see, really high scores, especially for creativity. Let's see what Rita has to say about this project. Rita, are you still here? You live in the same city, you've been here, you know this place. What makes it stand out?
Maybe this is the only project I have visited, and I really enjoyed my experience there. I think the whole atmosphere is very quiet and romantic, an ideal place for dating. And compared to some spaces over-decorated in China, I think this space is very simple and clean. Going inside is like an exploration. There are many details in the ceiling, walls, lighting, materials, and also the colors. And it is also well executed compared to many other projects. And Shenzhen is a very busy city, and everyone is working very hard. And I think this place is a very good space to hide away from the busy life in Shenzhen. And also its location is in the up hills, and their development is one of the most expensive community in Shenzhen. So compared to the busy environment outside, and inside is a very good place to hide away for a few hours.
Thank you for your insights, Rita. I'm really glad that you've been here and something really profound about this space. Thank you. Tom, this is a very monochrome color scheme. What's your impression of the use of color in furniture in general?
Thanks, Robert. The use of color just, it literally made me hungry, the space. I thought it was absolutely perfect for its purpose, and it was satisfying to look at. There was a warmth and a quality to it, which actually there's a slight change in pace around the environment as well, which I really enjoyed. And I thought of the whole thing of like going through the photos, it could translate into a meal in itself, of like you have your starter, your main, and your dessert, and you don't quite know what's happening in between, and you're taken on a journey through your meal. And I thought the space itself and the designers translated that into the space with the texture, not only the color, but the texture and the form and those cathedral like areas that you had around. So yeah, again, to go back to your original question, just it made me hungry, the use of color. It was it brought an appetite to me, and it really made me want to go there.
Thank you, Tom. Valerie, this is the opposite of an Instagrammable space. It's quite gloomy, it's quite dark. There's not a lot of specific elements that you can photograph. Is this the future of restaurant design? Is this the end of Instagram design?
Yes, that's a very interesting question, Robert. I think there's always going to be different types of restaurants for everybody, but in this case, it's a restaurant that I would definitely want to go to, because I'm not really into the Instagrammable places. I think what really strikes me is that without being like they don't have graphics or artwork or things that you are mentioning, how to create Instagrammable features of a restaurant, but with the serene atmosphere and being a little bit mysterious, I think it creates the perfect place to have a nice evening, or yeah, to meet up with friends. So they don't even need it. I think it's really impressive that I was thinking with some other projects that I would like to have seen pictures with people in it, so to understand how the vibe would be during a more vibrant situation. But still, with the images that they added to this project, I still could feel how it would be to actually enjoy an evening there. And that's really outstanding, I think. They were referring to a picnic in the valley. That's one of the only things that I didn't really understand, because I think of something else when I think of a picnic in the valley. This is more a picnic in the basement or something. But yeah, what strikes me most, I think, is the use of light. And then I love the way the facade is introducing daylight into the space and how it's connecting inside and outside. Yeah, I would definitely want to go there to experience it myself. Hearing from the other jury member that she enjoyed her evening, and that there are a lot of details that probably you cannot even see from looking at the pictures. Yeah, I think you can go there several times and still every time be surprised by all the design elements that they added to this space.
Thank you, Valerie. William, you sort of live around the corner in Hong Kong. This is in Shenzhen. It's approximately 1 hour difference. Is this a typical Chinese approach to restaurant design, or is it completely different than what you would normally find in your part of the country?
Well, actually, I feel that this is a very good example of, like what's going on with design in China right now. I think it's highly sophisticated, and it's I think it's very architecture in a way. I think it definitely represents one type of one very mainstream direction of design happening in China, and especially in Shenzhen, which is kind of like an ultra modern contemporary city. And I think it does reflect a certain people's lifestyle, especially when Rita said this is kind of, among a very high-end development. I think it's, fortunately, it's kind of reflecting a more refined, sophisticated taste for the people in China, and in a way, it's kind of reflecting the direction the design is heading. I'm also glad that Rita has actually seen it in reality, because nowadays you can always be easily fooled by photography, and sometimes it's very hard to tell whether it's manipulated or not. I think this project, particularly, I think it's really amazing that it really, in a way, to me, is devoid of a need for a function. It's almost so kind of, it's almost religious in a way. I mean, it reminds me of, being in Rongshan and seeing the light filtering through. So I think that the fact that it's a restaurant, I think, is probably not important, and it's probably, maybe that's one thing that one could question about this project. But if you have been there and feel that it's very comfortable to hang out there, then I think it's success. And to be so pure and to be so absolute with treating design, I think it's quite amazing. It's definitely commendable for this project.
Thank you, William. Oliver, do you agree with William? Can this be something else than a restaurant? And does that matter?
Well, I mean, it's very much a sculptural space. I mean, the Rongshan kind of core references are definitely clearly there. I would imagine, you say it's not an Instagrammable space, but I can see this being the backdrop to hundreds of TV commercials and goodness knows what else. It was very comforting to hear from people that have been there, someone who's been there, that it is as good in the flesh as it looks, because these projects, the award process sometimes does become a photographic competition. And it's certainly a very beautiful, seductive set of photographs that we get to see. And you're kind of trying to have to piece together what the actual spatial reality of it is. Certainly, in terms of communicating an image, a seductive image, I was seduced. I think we all were. But also, I think I do agree that I didn't really get the link to the supposed concept about dining in a valley, but it doesn't really matter. The end result is, really something quite special. I did make a comment in the online voting, though, that the one thing that slightly disappointed me was the furniture selection, which is absolutely fine, but it's not as special as the spatial environment itself, I didn't feel.
Thank you, Oliver. That was the last honorable mention. Kudos to various associates. Let's have a look at the winner. The interior of the month of January. That's the Neuhaus Longhouse, designed by BVN. That's the New York office from an Australian design studio. And as you can see, high votes across the board, with especially sustainability and functionality ranking high. This is a temporary outdoor pavilion created with recycled plywood that had been used previously during lockdown and also protests in the city. And it's also an attempt to keep the Neue House open, up and running, by giving it a position on the street. And the designers have meanwhile commercialized their design and made it via an open source database available to everybody. I think this is the summary of the project that most of you liked very much, although not everybody, as we will hopefully hear soon. So let's hear some comments about the projects. Alia, what did you specifically like about it?
Well, I specifically like the idea, this defiant idea, sort of using something that represented a negative into a positive atmosphere. I appreciate the fact that, I mean, that they took something that was just related in the news to something so bad, and a moment that was so bad, to help a community that is suffering a lot. I know New York well, and it's sad to see, you know, that vibrant lifestyle disappear. So what I really appreciated was this sort of use of design, of an idea, of material to move forward. Maybe the thought wasn't taken all the way to the end, but I think it's not about what's coming after that, although they are representing a future to this concept. But it was just a very good way of moving forward, a positive way of taking something really bad and moving it into something looking to the future in a simple way. And I like the fact that it's outdoors. I like the fact that it's sort of positive, something really negative into something really positive, and helping the community, especially because, I mean, what good would it be for these people to disappear? This is a good way to help them.
Thank you, Alia. Wiebe, yeah, the same kind of question I had for you about the Apple Store. Is this foldable architecture? Is this an interior space? What are we looking at? What are we judging?
Yeah, I think what we are looking at is not furniture design. It's not about spatial design, but I think it's a toolbox. I don't see a picture at all. So what I was saying, this isn't about furniture design or spatial design. I think they designed or developed, maybe even better, a toolbox which perfectly reflects, I think, the world state of mind on different levels. The riots which were going on over here in Amsterdam also, and in different parts of the city, the corona pandemic. I think when you can recycle wooden panels into these in a toolbox like this, which you can use on different in different areas also, I think you do a good job. And the whole sustainability part is questionable, I think. Recycling a piece of wood for one time doesn't make it sustainable, I think. But the whole idea of the toolbox, that ticked for me the biggest box.
Thanks, Wiebe. Olaf, I remember that you also are a bit critical about the sustainability aspect of this design.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious because we were obviously presented in the submission with information about how the materials had been sourced and where they'd come from, and that this was a creative reuse of material, and that's great. But obviously the watchword in the sort of sustainability or regenerative design ideas now is really about thinking about the whole life cycle, which is what then happens, what's the next life of these materials? Because this is a temporary structure. It will degrade, it won't last, it's not permanent. Therefore, these materials themselves will become waste once more. And obviously, it's quite possible that there was a very considered approach to the dismantling and ongoing life of these materials, but it wasn't evident in the submission that we saw.
Oliver, I would just to jump in, Robert. I hate to jump in, but they did submit a diagram where it showed how it could be used in various instances. Which for me alluded, I understand what you're saying about reuse, but it did allude to the possibility of further use outside once it was a restaurant, whether it's just used as plant dividers, whether it's used as a space to learn. So I think in terms of this for me satisfied me slightly in terms of a modular kit of parts, which could have the opportunity to like actually transform itself slightly to different purposes and different uses. So I do think they had that in their favor.
I can see that. The problem is these sorts of materials have a limited lifespan outdoors in the open.
Appreciate that.
They won't be able to be endlessly reused. I mean, it's like, you know, recycling a plastic shopping bag. It's like you do it 5 times, but then it falls to bits. So it's a laudable aim. I think there just needs to be a bit of acknowledgement that at some point this is going to all be junk again. And what do you do at that point?
But I don't think that is at fault of the design agency. That's just more the material makeup rather than the design agency, because the design agency or the people have got together for a reuse of the material. If it's going to end up junk in 3 uses, whatever, they might as well get 3 uses out of it.
Oh yeah, I don't dispute that. It's just that I think when people are really honest about the full life cycle of things, that's when you can really make strong claims about sustainability. But you know, we all voted it I voted it quite highly. I applaud it. That was just my one reservation.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, let's not stick around too long for, let's say, the critical aspects, the critical opinions that you have, because in effect, this is the winning project, and that's not for nothing. Elena, this is an extension of the Neue Haus. The Neue Haus is a high-end co-working space, a business club for creatives. I don't know how to call it. Is this something that you would find aligned with that brand?
Yes, I think so. And I really think that trying to extend and invest the outside and the street actually is the first step, you know, to have this kind of continuity with interior spaces. So I think it could work for the Neue Haus as well. And so I don't know if I answered your question, but.
Yes, to a degree, but Valerie, maybe you could take things a little bit further. If you look at the Neue Haus brand, it's very sophisticated. It's very high end. It's not your average co-working space. So, does this extension, this outdoor pavilion, do justice to that brand from your point of view?
Yeah, I think it is. It's not particularly that it's very sophisticated in a sense, because still plywood is kind of it's a very simple material to use, and you don't see it in the rest of the interior of the Neue Haus. But I do think that it's more about their design approach, and that they're a great example of how their design is influencing the people that are actually working at the Neue Haus. They want to improve their lives. They are bringing people together. They try to stimulate creativity, and in a way helping all these businesses to keep working in a safe sense. So it's more within the design thread that I'm looking at the extension of it now with the outdoor space, and not per se on the material side, if that's answering your question.
Thank you, Valerie. Then a question for Vincent. Vincent, are you still here? My question to you is, this is, as Wiebe said, it's a toolbox. It's a number of elements designed by a design studio with different use cases in mind. So not only the creation of this pavilion, but you can also make planters with this material. You can create an educational space with it. You can perhaps create a pop-up shop or a small extension to your house. Why not? So the designers created the toolbox. Is this the future of design?
I'm quite ambiguous to that question. On the one hand side, I really appreciate the speed of the project, so the very quick reaction the quick action of creativity that is involved. When I come to, for me, this is mostly about sustainability, this project. And when I talk about sustainability, I find it a little bit strange that sustainability goes with this very unsustainable materials. So when it comes to the toolbox, I definitely think there are opportunities. However, I would like the toolbox to last a longer time.
That's halfway answering my question. You would like to see another material, but the approach to design is to enable laymen to enable, let's say, the broadest community.
Yes, I understand. My personal reaction would be absolutely not. So I think that I really enjoy craftsmanship, and I really enjoy people crafting themselves rather than a toolbox. But that's my personal opinion.
Okay, thank you, Vincent. And William, you design super high-end spaces. In your virtual background, we see one of the buildings that you designed in Hong Kong, which is a building that comprises of various gallery spaces and restaurants. I've been there, it's amazing. Can you imagine designing the kind of extension to this building with this kind of toolbox that we have just been presented with?
Well, I would love to do something like that, but in Hong Kong, it would be very difficult. I think this particular project, I voted very highly on it because I think it represents a few things that I really believe in. First of all, it's probably, I look at it more as almost like an artistic installation, that it could, maybe it doesn't have a long lifespan, but it is kind of taking a few social issues that artists would probably do. One is kind of the boarded up retail shops that, where the plywood supposedly come from, and then using it to solve another very imminent issue, which is the issue of COVID, and how do we address the fact that, a lot of the activities ended up being on the street, and you actually, what's indoor spaces become very kind of not so appreciated. Like restaurants in New York they have to dine outdoor and events so it's actually reflecting a very imminent social and kind of environmental issue, which a lot of art installation would address very similar way. And I think it does, what strikes me very interesting, I really like the project is its simplicity, and also its kind of logic to it. Whether maybe the fact that they argued very strongly on the recyclability of it may not hold true for too long a time, but I think the fact that it is very kind of simply constructed, but in a very architectural way. In a way, I also felt that, in my introduction, I always feel that art, any project, if it can extend beyond its environment and kind of be able to have a positive effect for its neighborhood, then to me, that's a good project. And I think I could see that this project has a very positive effect on its environment. I can just imagine that particular site without the project would just be like a pavement of a street. But with that, it really transformed the environment, and that's really what I feel very strongly about it. And actually, during this series of project submissions, there are some similar projects to this, but I think this particular one solved the issue very well, and that's why I voted very highly for it.
Thanks, William. With an eye on the time, I need to bring this to an end, the session for today. Congratulations again to the winner of the month, BVN Studio, based in New York City. Congratulations with your Neuhaus Longhouse. Jury panel, what can I say? Thanks for showing up, 10 of you. I really like that. Thanks for your expert comments and for your honesty, your profound comments, your sincere feedback. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. We'll continue with this kind of session each month. We'll be tweaking the format though to make it even more engaging. I hope to see you all back anytime soon. For now, please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, jury. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.